Okay, we're going with a slightly modded version.
Welcome, President Washington. You lead the industrious American civilization.
I sure do.
Formed in the conflagration of revolution in the 18th century, within 100 years, the young nation became embroiled in a terrible civil war that
do know the
nearly
history
tore
of my
the
own
country
country.
apart. But it was just a few short years later, in the 20th century, that the United States reached the height of its power, emerging triumphant and mighty from the two terrible wars that destroyed so many other great nations.
I wouldn't know about
The
that.
United
I was
States
dead
is
by
a
then.
nation of immigrants, filled with optimism and determination. They lack only a leader to help them fulfill their promise. President Washington, can you lead the American people to greatness? Can you build a civilization that will stand the test of time?
I don't know. I don't even know if the mods are going to work, but we're going to try it. I'm your poorly aging, sarcastic, PC witty gamer. And we're going to try Civilization 5000. Okay, I told him to found. I was going to say, I told him to found a city,
Consider
and it
sending
did.
your warrior out to explore new territory.
That's what I'm going to do. Thank you for telling me what to do. But I was already planning
The city screen provides a detailed view of your city's growth and production.
I know this. I mean, thank you for telling me. We're going to name our main city Balantonia, as we have done in other games.
Here is something that may be helpful.
The discovery of the Great Barrier Reef has increased happiness in the Empire. Well, it didn't take long for us to do that. Now I did it. Choose production.
I have some information that may be of use.
Yeah, I know. Again, we're getting these pop-ups because we chose the easiest level of difficulty, and we didn't tell it that we wanted them not to tell us what to do. So we're going to build a lean-to shelter.
Excuse me.
And we're going to work on developing fire. So,
Excuse me.
one of the reasons I'm doing this video is to test some of the mods, and one of the mods takes us back to ancient times, you know, so we haven't discovered fire yet. So I really like these that take us back. I wish civilization itself had done that originally, had started with, you know, before we could even talk. But anyway. I'm skeptical about whether it kept the right option, so let's go look, especially the video options. Oh yeah, they're right. Okay, good. Just double checking. Okay. I don't know that we're on sufficient enough space to build a civilization here, but I'm not sure because I don't know the size of this landmass that we're on. I set it for continents, so hopefully we're on
hold secrets that
a
may
continent.
advance our civilization.
They sure do. So I'm going to have our warriors discover, first of all, this ancient. Doesn't look like we got anything from discovering that ancient.
The enemy unit you are near is fortified.
Yeah, that means it'd be hard to take them over, but they're barbarians.
I
They're
have some information that may be of use.
They're everybody's enemies, so taking them out is a priority.
We have succeeded.
Well, sort of. I mean, we haven't defeated the enemy, so I don't know why you would call it succeeding. And it's amazing that we have all these weapons when we haven't even discovered fire yet. So far it's plugging right along, and I think you're probably getting a good video of it. That unit needs to heal before he does anything more, or else he's gonna get killified.
We have a unit that is on the verge of being destroyed.
I know, I just told them that. Try and pay attention to my commentary. My commentary is infinitely more important than yours. So we're playing in marathon mode. Our technological discoveries are going to take much longer in this mode. The game itself takes much longer. I like a long-paced game, where when I'm away, tragically away from the game for some reason, like making dinner or thinking I can get some sleep or taking care of the dogs or something, I'm actually thinking about the game and what my moves are and all of that. Now I've been thinking about the Project Reality mods for Battlefield 2 and Battlefield 3, especially Battlefield 3, because I've never gotten
It is
anywhere
a
in
dangerous
Battlefield
world,
3.
and we are vulnerable to attack.
And I've heard the community is very small for Battlefield 3, the Reality mod. But I heard they're really good. And I've never gotten through the tutorial in Battlefield 3.
Our capital city has finished building a unit.
So I'm thinking about downloading that mod and using it. So I get some use out of Battlefield 3. Now, Battlefield 2 is a different thing altogether. Battlefield 2 is one of my top games of all time. Even though it hasn't aged well, because the graphics haven't been updated or anything like that. Battlefield 2, squad-based battles, there's vehicles. I understand all the modes. All the soldiers speak in their correct language, so if you're fighting the Chinese, you're going to be speaking English, they're going to be speaking Chinese. To me, it's like the perfect video game. So I'm not as interested in modding that one, although I might do it anyway just to see how it turns out. And eventually,
The
when we
city-state has requested your assistance.
do things like this, I will recruit people from our community if people are interested. Because some of these online experiences are really good, but they have such a few people still playing them because the games are old and the devs have long since moved on. But it means the people that are left are really dedicated to these games. So when we get to the point where there are thousands of people subscribed here, and I could just put out the word and say, hey, Monday evening at such and such a time, I'm going to be playing this game on this server.
I have some info.
Whoever wants to join us, come along. You know, when we get to that point, that'll be really good, and we will play games that still have
we have money to spend.
a
You can
dedicated,
spend money in a number of ways.
that still have a dedicated fan base and are still really good, even though they don't have as many people playing them as they used to. And like I said, the devs have moved on. But it also means that nobody's going to put out like a patch that ends up ruining the game or something like that. And it usually means if you need to purchase the game in order to play it, it's probably not going to cost very much. Battlefield 2 cost me a lot of money, and the reason why is because I kept buying other Battlefield games, hoping for the quality that I got from Battlefield 2, and I don't believe I ever got it. I have Battlefield 3, which, like I told you, I never even got out of the tutorial. Battlefield 4, Battlefield Hardline, Battlefield 5, Battlefield 1. I played Battlefield 2042. All because Battlefield 2 was so good. The variety of maps, the
سلام
variety...
عليك أنا داريهوش ملك ملكايا باريش ربا لهن ثانية يدات
Shalom Alek, so that's peace be with you. I'm saying that because the translation they put up isn't consistent with what I know of the language. I'm not saying they're wrong, I'm just saying how I would perceive it if somebody said that to me. Valentonians still got only one population. We need 2 population in order to build settler units. If you're wondering why I'm so obsessed with our population there. And we're going to stay small until we can send out population units. I mean, settler units to found new cities. But this is, as you could tell, not a fast-paced game. I play fast-paced games, but this isn't one of them. We're 18 turns away from discovering fire. So it looks like the ancient, so far the ancient mod is working. I only went with like 7 to 10 mods this time to make sure they work right together before, because I knew if I just willy-nilly added all the mods that are on my list, there would be some conflict and I would never figure out what was conflicting with what.
武勇の誉れ高き貴殿にご挨拶を申し上げたく、さらに公正かつ公平なる連携を心よりお願い申し上げまする。
Yeah, he didn't say anything I understand in Japanese, although, to be clear, I don't speak Japanese. I only know a few phrases I learned from Disney movies. Some of the Disney DVDs I have had not come out on DVD for the United States yet, and so I bought Japanese releases of them. And I did it because at the time the thought was that they would never be released in the United States. We are 5 away from fire. Okay, there's only one guy left, so we need to heal him. Because if they attack him, he's dead. And it takes a while to build military units. I think this is the free one we got starting the game. We're 2 away from fire right now. Looks like they killed my guy. Out of the frying pan and into the fire. They're saying Tertullian made up that one. Oh, they didn't attack my guy. Well, that's good. Now that we got fire, we can research cooking. I wouldn't say we are a civilization in 5,000 something BC. I would say the goal is civilization. We're hoping that one of the rewards we get for killing barbarians will be
mina ngingushaka wakwaZulu ngiyinsizwa yamabutho ungakusho okufanayo nawe
a settler unit, because it's obviously taking way too long to expand our civilization, and we don't want others to expand their civilization faster than we expand ours. I like shiny things the most. I don't know what that means, but okay. We have found more barbarians. And for some reason we just backed off from them. I don't know why we would do that. now the other guys have gotten in the way. We're gonna have to go around them to get at those barbarians, although they're probably gonna fight the barbarians as well. Or, oh yeah, that's us going around them. We're one away from... Humanity is mind controlled, and only slightly more conscious than your average zombie. David, or is it Ike or whatever? Now we're going to choose to research just your basic hunting. See, we're not even hunter-gatherers right now. That's one of our goals. We could probably take this guy. There's two of us and one of him, but we're probably going to take the safe route and heal a little first. I'm glad this game is working. I'm very pleased. I had to actually uninstall it and reinstall it. Now the barbarians, as you saw, were thinking about sending reinforcements to this camp. We're in a golden age now because my citizens are just so happy with me. Now when we do heal up, we're taking a risk because they might get more reinforcements into their city. But we were just trying to make sure that we didn't get killed along the way. Because units, especially early on in the game, are going to be hard to come by. They take a long time to build. You don't want to lose any of them.
We have no combat units defending our territory.
When one has finished building one's house, one suddenly realizes that in the process, one has learned something that one really needed to know in the worst way before one began. This is the Theo Petra Cave. Now we're going to build our first settler unit. It's going to take as much as 96 turns.
The land near your city could be made more productive. Build a worker to improve your territory.
Well, I will, but as I was explaining to these people, units are few and far between in the beginning of the game, especially in this mode, and so I had to make another priority decision first, which was to build a settler unit so that we can start having more cities. Wasted away in Margaritaville, looking for that lost shaker of salt. Some people say that there's a woman to blame, but there ain't. It's just my own fault. Okay, there's more barbarians. Especially in the early game,
Art.
your military units are usually fighting barbarians. The world becomes much safer when you eliminate all the barbarians off of the map.
City-states are small countries that are not competing to win the game. You may interact with them diplomatically, or you may go to war with them.
I wish she wouldn't remind me that we're just playing a game. She could pretend that this is real life. I don't like games telling me that they're games. We're gonna have to heal up. $85 until we get that settler. Now, I say a minimum because it could happen that our city grows and starts producing more faster, and so, you know, it could be 36 until we have that settler. Or it could be more because our our golden age just ended. So now they reset it to 91 and now it's at 90. We're getting more views now. And we have a few more subscribers. We need a lot more subscribers, of course. But we've gotten something like 8,200 and some odd views. And last I checked, 42 subscribers. And if you know, if you want to view the content without being a subscriber, obviously you can. I wouldn't try and keep you from that. But we are trying to build a community that will stand the test of time. Sort of like Civilization. That's kind of cute, huh? And so we'd ask, and I don't know who we is because there's just me here behind this YouTube channel. So I'd ask that you consider subscribing. It costs nothing. And hitting that notification bell icon so that you'll hear every time a video of mine shows up, so you have the option of watching it. The more subscribers we have, the more YouTube will recommend our videos, put them high in the search results. A lot of people don't realize that YouTube is a search engine. And so it has to prioritize when people search for things. It has to decide what to show them. The perils of the duck are great. Let's try that again. The perils of duck hunting are great, especially for the duck. That has been attributed to Walter Cronkite. Let's research scouting so that we can either make scouting units or make them more efficient. I don't remember whether we have scouting units in this game before we explore scouting. Now, I'm so old that when I was in the Boy Scouts, it only had boys. Yeah, imagine that. And the Girl Scouts, I didn't even think to join them because they only had girls. Yeah. So you could tell I'm pretty old. Well, I'm not pretty, but I'm old. Women's sports, get a load of this. All the competitors were female. Yeah. They were born female. Uh-huh. They had cigarette vending machines in our elementary school. And I'm not saying that they allowed children to purchase cigarettes at school. I'm just saying they had cigarette vending machines. They didn't think to put them in just the teacher's lounge or anything. And I point this out for a number of reasons. One, to show how stinking old I am. But two, nowadays, most campuses in the United States ban smoking altogether. So they wouldn't allow their faculty to smoke any more than their students. And in these vending machines were name brand cigarettes that cost 20 cents a pack. So you'd put your quarter in and you'd get a nickel back. And name brand cigarettes like Lucky Strikes, Marlboro, Cool. I don't know cigarette brands from that era. I don't even know them from this era. I don't smoke. But when I think about cigarette vending machines in elementary schools, it's because I'm thinking about how old I am. How almost everything was different back then. Our family had a VW microbus. The back seats were taken out, and this platform had been built of wood. And under the platform were placed supplies, mainly food items. And then we as children sat on top of the platform, which means everywhere we went in the car, we didn't have seat belts. And then at the back of the platform, there was a gap, and that's where we put our sleeping bags. But our sleeping bags were only there if we were on vacation, because when we were on vacation, we generally camped out unless we were staying with relatives, and we only stayed with relatives very sparingly on vacation. So that gap between where the back of the interior would rise and you know, the back edge of this platform that, like I said, kept food in it. I think there were other supplies as well, but that gap, we called it the pit. And this wooden platform, it had a foam like a few inches, maybe 3-4 inches covering across the top that could be taken out, laundered, and all that. And that's what we sat on, not just when we were on vacation, all year round. So when we're going to church, when we're going anywhere in the family car, which was the VW microbus, we're sitting on this platform. Dad's in the front driving, Mom's in the passenger seat in the front, and we're in the back. No seat belts. No child seats. No worries. My father worked for the phone company. But he also climbed radio towers to replace lights on them or to paint them or things like that. And I remember sometimes, in order to assist my father, I would climb the tower too, without a safety belt or anything like that. And I don't know what I was thinking, although I was just doing what my father told me to do. But nowadays this would be considered child abuse. I don't consider it child abuse. He didn't consider it child abuse. But I'd be like maybe 100 feet above the ground on a little tiny platform that wasn't even big enough for my butt, with no support whatsoever. In other words, if I had put my foot in the wrong place or my hands in the wrong place,
like military units.
I would have
Cities
fallen.
can bombard besiegers.
I would have fallen and either been greatly injured or killed. And we just never even thought about those dangers in those days. I was on it to hand stuff up from the bottom to my father so he could get his work done. I don't remember being especially frightened by it or anything. Today I wouldn't do a thing like that. I think my fear of heights has increased. And I don't think I have an irrational fear of heights. I've known people that can't walk across certain parts of a building if you could look over the sides of, say, a section and see a lower section or whatever. It frightens them. And there would be all kinds of bridges they wouldn't be able to walk across. I think I could walk across those bridges. And I think I have, in fact. But there are things I did. I remember, like, my cousins had a nice place in West Covina, and it had a pool in the back. We would typically go on the roof of their house, jump off the roof into the pool. This is a very dangerous thing to do. If we miscalculated or anything went wrong, let's say we didn't get enough force into our leap, we would have landed on concrete and again been either horribly injured
Here is something
or
that might
killed.
be helpful.
And we didn't even think about those possibilities. When we were growing up. Nowadays, parents would probably be jailed if they found, if the, governing authorities found out that they allowed some of the things that were just commonplace when I was growing up. We had a lot more freedom too. I remember as a young boy going with one of my cousins and just camping out for the night. They lived in a mountain community, and it wasn't a campground either. It was just, we found a spot to lay out our sleeping bags, and we did that. We didn't have any adults with us, any older relatives. There were wild animals out there and all of that, and again, we didn't think of the danger or anything. It was just something we wanted to do. It seemed very normal. And I would have been either an adolescent or a very young teen at the time. Now it helped they lived in a place that had almost no crime. So I don't think they thought about danger the way most people who live in cities think about danger. Now we lived in the LA area, so we thought about danger more, but not nearly the way people think about danger today. A scout is never taken by surprise. He knows exactly what to do when anything unexpected happens. Now that enables me to train scouts, so apparently before that I could not train scouts. Now I will research gathering so that I can be a hunter-gatherer, and I'm 14 away from building my first settler unit. If I had any brains, I would take this military unit, this warrior unit, whatever they are, and get back to Balantonia so that I could escort that settler unit to their new home. Because if I don't get that right, if the settler unit gets kidnapped, well, all the time I put into building that settler unit will be just lost. Wasted time, as the Eagles would say. All the years, all the wasted time. To think I had it all the time. I wonder if it's considered copyright infringement if you don't even get the tune proper. I guess the lyrics are copyrighted. But of course, the standard is how much of the copyright material you use. So if you use less than 30 seconds of a song that's over 3 minutes in length, then that's part of fair use. That's why you didn't hear me. That's one of the many reasons you didn't hear me sing the whole song. There's other reasons too, like I don't want to be cruel to my audience. I hope the other civilizations aren't growing faster than I am. They might be though. It feels painful how slow the growth has been. I mean, look at this. We're 46 minutes into it, and we're still 5 turns away from having our first settler unit that we actually built. All the wasted time, all the years. Oh, you know what I think I did? I think I took the song All the Time from Barry Manilow and I put that with Wasted Time by the Eagles. I think that's what happened. Looking for a sign, think I had it all the time. Yeah, that's what I did. I was thinking of the song Wasted Time by the Eagles, but I put it with All the Time by Barry Manilow. For those of you scoring at home. Now there we have our...
You can found a new city with your settler.
Yeah, I'm going to do that.
Move your settler to a fertile location and found a new city.
I'm doing that, lady. Now, because it took so long to build that one settler unit, obviously I'm tempted to keep building settler units. But, you know, I need some kind of defenses. I need to have an army as well. Although, remember, we're in the Stone Ages right now.
Your settler is alone outside your
Oh,
borders
no.
and could be captured.
Oh no, please no. They usually say that right before he is captured, so I hope he doesn't get captured. It took forever to create him. Okay. So we will name this place Huerta. Nice Latino name. I like Latinos. We're gonna build a tribal campfire here. Because remember, I can't have Huerta build a settler because you have to have a population of at least 2 to build a settler. And it's because that second population unit is the settler. So obviously the city would disappear if you took their only population unit and made it into a settler. I know I've said settler a lot, haven't I? You're afraid it's all been wasted time. The autumn leaves have got you thinking about the first time that you fell. Better than any argument is to rise at dawn and pick dew wet red berries in a cup. Wendell Berry said that. Maybe he was explaining why he chose the name Barry. I don't know if he chose the name or whether that was his real name. Anyway, we're going to go with social structure. That's what we're researching right now on your very favorite YouTube channel. Your poorly aging, sarcastic, PC Witty gamer channel, where you're falling in love in stereo. That's right, it's stereo, beautiful digital HD. It's hard to get better than this, but we are striving every day for excellence. And in 24 moves, we're going to have a social structure. Whatever that means in this game. I would say you can't go wrong with Civilization games, but I didn't buy Civilization 7 because I think they did go wrong. And, you know, I could be wrong. But I don't want to take a $70 gamble when the things I've read about for Civilization 7 are that they made choices that I would not enjoy.
You now have a ranged unit.
Yeah, this is going to be our first I'm going to fortify him in the city. This is going to be our first unit. It's not a very strong unit. It's going to be our first military unit that's actually in a city. Our expansion is taking way too long, so I told it to build another settler unit. Even though typically I only have a city build one settler unit. I have every city build one settler unit, as long as there are places on the map to sell. The more cities you have, the more you can research, the more wealth you're producing and all of that. So I like a lot of cities. It also makes you harder to kill off. And there are some versions of the game that are made, like Civilization 6, for instance. It would probably be impossible to do what I normally do in Civilization 3 and 4, which is build so many cities that it would be virtually impossible to take them all over. That's one of my gameplay philosophies is to have 200, 300 cities, so that if they take out 8 cities or something like that, they're not going to take out the rest, and while they're taking out those first few, you can be building military units in 200 other cities, and those units are going to be able to wipe out whoever is messing with your civilization, and you're going to take back whatever cities they took, and if you're in a mood, you're going to take all of their cities. Lord Halul Hilseth of Morrowind. Whatever you're looking for, I'm sure I don't know how to find it. Okay. That's obviously one of the mods. The problem of social organization is how to set up an arrangement under which greed will do the least harm. Milton Friedman. Okay, now we're going to go after language. There's so many good texts at the beginning of this game, especially if you have the mod that takes you back to caveman days. And we are not in the top 8 of the world's busiest people. I don't know what busiest means, but that's probably not good. Okay, let's build a fire pit in Huerta. We're just trying to do time until Huerta can build settlers, which would be, it looks like, in 6 turns. So I hope you're enjoying your day. I'm showing exactly how Civilization 5000 can be played. We're in another golden age. This is how I play it. I am in no way saying this is how you should play it. Good games have more than one way to be successful. If what you have is working or making you happy, that's what matters. Games are primarily about enjoyment. You play an instrument? I learned a little on the violin, and my sister played the flute, and so I learned a little about the flute. I played clarinet. I think they were called a B-flat clarinet. Don't take my... I may be wrong about what they were called, but I played a clarinet, and then I played a saxophone. I've since learned, you know, I could pick out a tune on a piano. I never had piano lessons. I wouldn't call myself a piano player. Been in a few musicals, mostly religious ones that were done for my church growing up. I played Daniel in It's Cool in the Furnace. I played Jesus in Sam. It's a cool in the furnace. It's a cool in the furnace. It's a cool in the furnace. Man, that furnace is cool. 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 I had a cousin. His name was Glenn. He was a little younger than me. And these musicals would get published. By that I mean that, you know, the writers would go to a publisher and they would have somebody record an album of the musical being performed. And then, of course, the play would be published so that local churches could perform them, or local whatever, I guess. I don't know that you had to be a church to do it. And so that meant that at the same time there could be hundreds or even thousands of different congregations doing the same production. So, for instance, my cousin Glenn and I both played Daniel the same year. He lived about 400 miles away from me. Sometimes we'd see him once a year for a few days. And other times we would see them 2 to 3 times a year. They lived in the Santa Cruz area, and they lived up in the mountains, and so it was a lot different from being in LA. And we got to do other activities when we were there. The place where they lived was used for Christian conferences. So famous, you know, speakers would come in and do keynote addresses and things like that. And there were recreational activities. The The summer camps I went to, some of the summer camps I went to were in that area as well. By and large, language is a tool for concealing the truth. George Carlin said that. He was an atheist comedian. I think we better learn some warfare. I hear some of the natives might be hostile. Yes, we will accept your embassy, Morrowind. We always visited them, they didn't visit us. And I don't know why that is, other than where they lived was much more exciting, for one thing, and maybe they couldn't get away, I don't know. We also didn't have visitors over to our house much, and we almost never had overnight guests, and we certainly didn't have multiple overnight guests, so no family ever stayed with our family while we were growing up. When we visited them, our family would stay in their family house. It was very rare that we would have an overnight guest. And if we did, it was like another cousins that lived closer, where we were doing something one day and we had something planned for the next day. And that would be one cousin rather than their whole family staying with our whole family. I don't know why my guys keep backing off from the conflict, but we're gonna stop them from doing that. Now that other group will get credit for killing those barbarians, even though I did the bulk of the work on them. Valentonia will grow faster when I'm not siphoning off their population to build settlers, to build other cities. So this may be the last siphon I do of them, I don't know. Because I do want them to grow. Now, who are these guys? It doesn't say what nation they're from. And my guys are backing off again. I don't understand why my warriors are afraid of a fight. Now, fight like apes. Best weapon against an enemy is another enemy. Wow, we took all of their forces in one turn. We'll go with tool specialization for 27 turns. Is anybody still with me at this point? Maybe somebody's lost their remote and they can't switch off the channel. I'll take it. I mean, you know. Again, so far the weights have been me. For the most part anyway. I forget that it plays a lot faster now than it used to. Until my mind wanders to other things or whatever. And I look and it says next turn, which means it wasn't the slog in the problem, I was. A caveman is a weak military unit. Let's build a campfire. Okay, he made it without getting killified, which is the best way to make it. Please like and subscribe, and thank you for watching today.